Lockdown 3.0. I mean, if you're a parent watching this, I'm sure you're over this lockdown and the homeschooling. We won't dwell too much on that, but I've got some, can I say tips? Yeah, maybe tips. Hi, my name's Joycelyn. I'm the Managing Director of Geek School Tutoring. If you are new to this channel, a very big welcome to you. Geek School Tutoring specialises in the 11 plus preparation. We are based in Beckenham and in Catford and online. And if you need somebody to help you prepare your child for the 11 plus, well, you're here now. Head over to geekschool.co.uk after watching this video and get in touch. So, lockdown 1.0, thanks to that dirty C word, which we will not be mentioning on this channel, had a huge impact on students. Even the best of students, even the ones that were having, lessons online, there was some form of an impact. Of this is obviously parents have also been working during the lockdown, and so as much as the idea of homeschooling made us all believe that, you know, school would be, in terms of the learning process, would be the same, only that it would be from home. The reality is quite different when you're trying to juggle conference calls, video calls, and so on your daily workload, and trying to navigate through the various different tech, the websites, whether it's Microsoft Teams, Google Classroom, Zoom, and whatever else in between that your child or children's school had to have been quite a stressful process. I'm just thankful that my children are, you know, well, now they're both in secondary, but in the first round I had one in primary and one in secondary. Yes. So before we carry on with this amazing video, please remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notifications so that you will get notified every time a new Geek School video goes up. Enjoy! Anyway, so I want to discuss some of the things that I noticed as a result of, you know, the homeschooling. Most children took a step back in their attainment, and one area that I noticed this in significantly was in the reading. You know, children who were fluent in their reading, wouldn't stumble on any words, you know, had a lot of what's the word, you know, sort of flair with their reading and so on. First lesson back, and some sort of stuttering going on and some not sureness going on, lots of things like that. There's one thing that I really want to impress on parents. Listen, I know what it's like. I've got children, as I've explained, but there must be reading for children in primary school. If there's only one thing you do during this period, it's the reading. Anyone who bypasses the reading, well, without fear-mongering, the risk of children regressing for the 11 plus preparation is greater than, you know, we might consider. Okay, so what does that reading look like? You know, obviously for parents who are considering the 11 plus, I can hear a lot of you saying, well, reading, well, my child can read unaided. But here's the thing, even with the most keen of readers, most of them don't check words in the dictionary. It's something that I've spoken about a few times on this channel. And with that, you know, they tend to just gloss over things. Now, over a period of time, so obviously the lockdown last time, some children didn't even get to go back to school, depending on what was going on with their school size, and, you know, year groups and so on. So potentially about 6 months of no school, and that child is just reading to themselves. No adult intervention, no check-in, no discussion of what's going on in the book and so on. There is no nicer way to say this, and I don't believe in lying to people. You know, children in that situation will definitely regress, because generally they don't check the meaning of words. The vast majority of children do not do that. You know, even if you say, oh, you know, my daughter, my son has got 3 dictionaries, a school one, you know, Collins and an Oxford one, and, you know, all of that. How many times do you see your child with that dictionary? Like, be honest, you know, probably not as much as you had envisioned when you purchased those dictionaries. They generally don't. And for the children who are reluctant readers, many of them are not actually reading. You know, some of them skip lines when they're reading. Some of them will skip pages. And, you know, they may sit there, you know, for the duration, but they're actually not reading. So what do we need to do? Okay, so generally I suggest to parents that it's vital that for a good solid 10 to 15 minutes a day, you need to read with your child. And, you know, I can literally just hear the screams in the background. I can see steam coming out of some parents' ears. Some of you are about to take off and combust any minute now. I know. You know, at the moment, we're doing a lot more than just overseeing homework in the evening or once a week. And, you know, for parents whose children never had homework at all, I can only imagine what it's like for you at this moment. However, 10 to 15 minutes a day. I wish I could say, you know, if you just do it once a week, it'll be fine. It won't be. It just won't be. And I just can't lie about this. I'm sorry, you know. I mean, obviously the purpose of this channel is to help parents. There's no point lying about such a thing. Okay, so let's see. There are 24 hours in a day, okay, and that's 1,440 minutes in a day. Now, if we take 15 minutes out of that and we work out the percentage, 1.04% of the day. Anyone can do that. When we put it into that perspective, and I know I'm ready for the comments. You put anything you want in the comments. Go for it. I'm ready. I know you'll tell me, but hold on a second. I'm working even longer hours now because I'm working from home. And, you know, and after a long day of working, you know, we're all tired. I understand. I really do. But this is the lifeline of your child's 11 plus preparation. If this doesn't happen, it will have a huge impact on your child's 11 plus preparation. It really will. And I've seen it, unfortunately. The area that it impacts the most is obviously the English comprehension paper, all the vocabulary based questions there, and the verbal reasoning paper. a spanner in the works because of the social distancing and, you know, what the government has allowed or recommended schools to do in relation to the exams. Now, many children haven't sat their exam in the normal way, in particular for independent schools. So children who are ready to read a passage and, you know, write a story and just write comprehension answers and so on, have had to do a computer-based exam. And many of those computer-based exams have a lot of vocabulary questions in. Lots. I'm saying lots and loads. I'm making a new word. So many of them. And so, if this happens next year, schools will be using the same systems, you know. SEM adaptive online test, ISEB online tests. Literally, you know, I wish I could say wait and see, you know, between now and the end of February, when hopefully lockdown will cease. That's a long time for any child not to be reading to a parent. It's just too long, really, and it's just too long. It can have a huge knock-on, and bearing in mind that children need to be working at least a year ahead in order to be anywhere near a chance of success of the 11 plus exams, it's just not worth the risk. It really isn't worth the risk. You know, the reading is important. So some of you might say, well, what's the difference? If my child can read, what's the difference between them reading to me and them reading independently? The key difference is the dictionary. The second difference is you being able to ask your child, what does that paragraph mean? What do you think is happening next? Why do you think the character said that? Why does the character feel that way? And so on. That discussion doesn't happen when a child reads independently. And that discussion helps them think about what they're reading about. A lot of children learn to read and they learn to read words. They don't often realize that they need to understand what they're reading. And parents are often shocked when I, you know, recommend that they put this procedure, this process in place. And, you know, when they start doing that, they realize that actually their son or daughter hasn't really grasped what they've been reading, unless it's a David Walliams or a Jacqueline Wilson book where it's just full of humour. Give them a classical text and it's a completely different story. And due to copyright, most of these exams use passages from classical text where there's Old English used and so on. So if your child isn't well versed in understanding these texts, sorry, just checking my mic. If your child isn't well versed and well practiced in understanding these texts, what do you think will happen? And also, you know, the expanse of vocabulary that they'll be exposed to. You're just not going to get it in a lot of the modern books, you know, even the best ones. So it's really vital that children are reading with an adult and that they're reading widely. On the Geek School website, we have reading lists that you can use, and I'll put the links in this video description as well, actually, to help you help your child. And aside from that, what I've decided to do is to run some reading clubs with the children. We'll likely be running 2 of them, one on a Saturday and one during the week. out of school, out of homeschooling hours, where, you know, children will get to read a classical piece of text, to discuss it, learn the words and so on, because it's so important. Some of you will think about getting children to memorize the meaning of words. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Without the examples to help that connection, it doesn't work. Case in point is many primary schools send spelling lists home. Children memorize 10 to 20 words a week. Some of them get all the answers correct, and you can see them misspell the words in their writing. Ask them what that word means a couple of weeks, 4 weeks later, and it's as if you're speaking a foreign language to them, as if they've never heard of it, but they spent days maybe learning how to spell that word. And that's another point. Those word spelling lists, really, words that are unfamiliar should be checked in the dictionary, but most children don't do that either. So reading is the way forward. It's the way forward. Reading, and more reading. And one other area is times tables. So depending on the quality of work that's being given to your child, and I mean that respectfully, I'm not trying to insinuate that schools are not giving good quality work or anything like that, even if sometimes that appears to be the case. I mean, my children thankfully go to really good schools, so all the work that they're given is excellent, thank goodness. But you know, in other schools where there is quite a broad range of academic ability, I know that schools have had no other option but to give something that all children are able to do, which has meant that for the high attainers, they're being given work that's just too easy for them, and so on. So I've had many parents complaining about that, concerned about that, and so on. But what I've realized is that times table knowledge has eroded during this time. It's really eroded during this time, and I really want to encourage parents to make sure that children stay on top of their times tables. I recommend downloading any of the free times tables apps. We're not affiliated with any, so I don't really recommend any. And just getting your child to spend, 5 to 10 minutes on that a day. The apps are good because, it's a game, basically. There's immediate gratification and reward. And children seem to connect better with the app than those posters and writing all the times tables down and so on. It can randomize the questions and all of that. So it's very effective in helping children to learn and remember their times tables. So reading and times tables, I cannot emphasize that enough. If you can get your children to stay on top of those two, and really stay on top of those two areas, all the other areas of learning tend to be easier to bring back, battery. All of those other areas seem to be a lot easier to relearn or revise thereafter, but where there are issues with those two areas, it will have a huge impact on your child's 11 plus preparation. And you only get the opportunity once to do the 11 plus for the grammar or independent schools, so might as well really sort of hone in and get those results the first time. Anyway, this video is so long, and I'd never intended for it to be quite this long, but thank you for hanging in there. I hope this has been helpful. I'm interested to hear your comments. So, you know, our comments tend to be quite lively and interactive. So please let me know what you think. Any other tips and advice for parents and other students preparing for the 11 plus during such a time as this? I will not mention that dirty C word. Thank you so much for watching. Bye. Thanks for watching. Do you need help with your writing? Don't forget to check out Geek School Tutoring's online writing courses at www.the11plusessay.co.uk. We have everything from creative writing courses to English comprehension courses and English grammar and punctuation courses, just to name a few. Remember to like, comment and subscribe to our channel and to switch on your notifications so you know when our next video goes up. Bye. Collins,